Hello and welcome to Colouring with Colourful Crafts. Today I'm going to share with you some completed pages I have done using the ColourCube, this little thing at the side of me, using the, oh, I turn it around that way, the ColourCube by Sarah Renee Clark, and show you, basically what I have been up to and how that's kind of helped in maybe doing some of these pages, and tell me what you think, let me know what you think. So the first one, well the actual last one that I've done, was from Tales from the City Among the Stars by, of course, Hanna Karlzon, who is probably one of my favourite illustrators. So this one is of the florist. The card that I picked at random was this one, which I thought that actually works very nicely. So I tried to work around the colours I had here. Obviously I didn't have a lot of choice for green, I just had the variations of the shades, so I couldn't really go in for any other types of green on there, just do it lighter and darker, which did prove a bit tricky at times, but the rest of it seemed to work. I ended up with more of a blue than I wanted. I was going for a ghost white, which actually does turn out a blue. If you can see that, it's very, very much off there what it's supposed to do, but by the time I'd mixed it around and all together, it just sort of came out that blue, and I just decided, well, you know what, the heck, I'll go with it. But I did like the colours, and I really enjoyed doing this page because it was such a nice palette, and I chose well, because I chose it at random as well, that was quite surprising because it really worked well and it reminded me of the Gran. Funnily enough, they used to own a shop in Cornwall, and the style of this little florist kind of reminded me of that, and it was just really lovely and kind of reminiscent to do. So yeah, that's what I did with that one. I don't know what that word is there. I think it's in, she's Swedish, isn't she? So I think that's in Swedish. I think it means bloom or blooms, I'm not sure. Basically flowers, really, which is what it is, but I just thought I'd go over that. I added some little stars here around the edge in silver, and that's it really. But yeah, it worked out okay, but there wasn't a lot of choice, but it kind of worked in a way that the colours worked nicely together, so I was quite happy with overall the way it turned out. There was that one. Then moving on to Tales from Atlantis, which I have nearly completed now. I shall just pick these pages at random where I've got them sectioned off. So this one was of the lovely, well, I don't know whether she's a mermaid or what kind of, I suppose she's meant to be a mermaid, but she's wearing a dress, so I don't know. Anyway, this is a colour scheme, colour palette that I was given completely at random, and I chose to incorporate into this, and I think it worked out fairly well. Maybe not my very best I've done, but I'm kind of happy with it. It was very difficult to get in the details in this like oval thing that I've decided to make more of a feature, but apart from that, I think it was pretty good. I didn't have much of a problem with bleed through. That's my other page, and the back it didn't come through, so that was really good. And I used mostly watercolour for this, but those are the colours I used, and that's the picture that they've kind of taken off those colours and worked with. But yeah, it's pretty good, pretty nice page. The next one I did was this of the seahorse, and I picked a colour palette completely by random that I would never have thought of using as colours to work with a page like this, but actually, as you can see, I kind of stuck with it as best I could, and it's turned out like that, and I think it really works quite well. I like the dark kind of murkiness of it, and the yeah, again, it's not a colour palette I would have personally chosen, but I do think that it worked pretty well, and I like it. I really like it. I think I like it because it reminds me a bit of the Art Deco kind of effect with the edging, and the, you know, it just appealed to me very much. So that was a success. And next one we have is this one of the fish, which there was that colour palette for. I wasn't as impressed with how this turned out. I managed to get a lot of smudges around the edge, which really annoyed me, but beside that, it was pretty much sticking to the colour choice, and that's what I came up with. Yeah, it's okay. It's not the best. I think I could have done better. I forgot to use the dark brown when I coloured this in, so that's why there isn't dark brown appearing on that. But I tried to work with some of the other colours and try and match it as best I could. And of course the grey. Again, it's not a perfect match, but when you're working with watercolours and having to mix them and do all of that to try and get the colours correct, it can be very, very tricky. But I think I did okay on that page. The fins here were a bit light. I would have liked that to be more darker reddish colour, but somehow the blue got mixed in and it created this purpley, pinky kind of colour, which wasn't just what I wanted, but it worked out okay enough, but not one of my best. Then I did this lady here using this colour palette. They didn't actually give it a name, it just says, oh, 56. So 56, this one. And I was quite pleased with how she turned out. She kind of reminds me of a Japanese geisha. I think they call them Japanese geishas, or geishas, whatever. You know, with the kind of look of her eyes and the hairstyle and the fish, and that's what it just kind of looked to me a bit like. And I really like that. I think it works really well. Yeah, it didn't have too much of a problem colouring it in, and not too much of a bleed through either, which is great. Moving on, I have this one. This was done mostly in blues and greys. As you can see, I'll actually leave the thing back at the side where you can see. And this, of course, is of this lady with a lot of blues and greys on her and the fishes. And I did think at one point, am I going to actually go over the fish with like a black outline? But then I decided actually I didn't fancy doing that, because I didn't want them to take too much of a I didn't want them to appear too prevalent over her kind of face. I wanted her face to be more of the focus point rather than the fish, you know, make that more of a thing. I don't know if I've achieved that, but I quite like the results of that one, and it shows what you can do if you just stick to a colour palette. So that was that one. And then the last one here is of this duck. I chose this palette, which was a very difficult one to work with because, as you can see, there's quite a lot of yellows and greys. And it was a page of a duck, which did work, obviously, for the, well, they actually call it cream and marigold, but I mixed those two to get this. And that worked. All with polychrome. I think I used polychromos, Prismacolor, and a little bit of watercolour in this one. And then right for the very end part, I decided to highlight the keys at the bottom of the lake with some silver and some silver spots on the frogs. But I think overall it worked quite nicely. Yeah, and the kind of, I've kind of like done it so you can see where the line of the lake is, and how when you usually see things through water, it tends to be a lighter colour than the actual colour, if you see what I mean. So I kind of did that depth kind of effect on it. And that was it really. As I say, it wasn't a great colour palette, couldn't really do much with it, but I did try. And I also tried, this is just to, oh, I do, excuse me, that is my dog barking. Do it at the back of this. I did this page here when I was trying to do the seahorse, and I thought stupidly in my mind I could make this like a nice effect of like going from dark to light, but it didn't work. Unfortunately, you know, you don't always, as I say, get pages that work out the way you wanted, or the way you would want. Excuse me, the way you would want, but I did what I could with it, and that's how it kind of came out. This one's okay, it's not the best. So after all that, I think we don't have many pages left, and probably by the time I next upload another one, I will have completed this book, and I might just start with a full flip through of the completed book for you to see, and just get a general feeling for what my viewers like or don't like, or, you know, just share with me your opinions, and that would be great. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. I'll be back with more later. Bye.